Hey guys, welcome back. It's Keith, and today is the release day for Expanded Resources version 1.6, which is the anniversary update. So I'm super excited for you all to play with this mod and get your hands on it. And I just wanted to do a little bit of a feature overview, just to announce that, hey, you can play it right now. And I have both versions of the mod completely updated, so if you preferred the Expanded Resources Road to 56 version, that is updated and will be working at this moment as well. So you can download both versions, Road to 56 or the base version, which I have here today, and you can play with all the new features. So let's go ahead and get started with all of the new things in the mod. So first you'll notice that the background is a little different. And the logo is different. I just thought, why not spice it up? So that's that. You'll also notice that both of these pictures are different because also why not spice it up? So if we get started here, let's just choose Germany. Okay, so right off the bat, you will see that one, this event is huge. Usually it's not this big, but that's because there's so much stuff. And also there's a new option for this event. So if you're a new player, you click here, and all of these texts finish for the event, but I'll explain that in a second. And this event right here gives an overview of everything in Expanded Resources. So not just the new things, but everything that new players need to watch out for. Okay, so let's get started. First off, the laws. So the laws are a bit different now. I went ahead and I added a new law, which is called the ration distribution laws. And this is supposed to kind of simulate where your rations are going. So are they going towards the civilian population, or are they going more towards the military? And they all have bonuses and like some buffs and some debuffs. So I feel like this just adds another little interesting mechanic. So, if you have your civilians, you might not have as many people wanting to join the military, right? But if you are focusing on the military, then your recruitable population goes up, your factory output goes up, your military construction speed goes up, etc. No specific focus. I didn't want to leave this with just no buffs or debuffs because I feel like that's kind of boring. So I went ahead and I added a couple things there as well. And then lastly, this desperate focus is for people who are really up against a challenging enemy. Maybe they're a small nation, they don't have as much manpower, so they might want to consider this focus. Also, I went ahead and I changed the resource efficiency laws to kind of lower the impact of a lot of these debuffs. They were a little too much, so I went ahead and changed that. And I also changed average efficiency to have some buffs and debuffs because I didn't want anything to be kind of a static, no plus or minuses. I wanted players to feel like they had to choose, what they wanted. So I went ahead and changed that. And finally, with the laws, I changed this to fighting focus laws, and I added 2 more focuses. So before we had our essentials and our heavy ammo and light ammo stuff, but now we have our air equipment focuses and our sea equipment focuses. So yeah, that's kind of interesting as well. Players will be able to choose what they want to focus their country more on, and they have a couple more options now. So yeah, next, let's go over the next new feature, I suppose, decisions. So Expanded Resources now has new decisions for all countries. There are 8 generic decisions, and there are a few specific ones for different nations. So you can see here, let's just close all this. The Germany decisions are the specific ones for Germany. This one is just called Streamline Ration Production. So Germany is the only nation who has this one, and it gives them this national spirit here. Then we have this generic Expanded Resources decisions, which is set up farms, clear forest for grain production, forest preservations, and mine for coal deposits. So you can see what these do here. And then if we were, let's say, my favorite is probably Britain. So like if we do tag England here, their decision, their custom decision, is the remove reliance on colonies, which is their custom national spirit. That is horrible for players. A lot of players didn't like it, so I went ahead and I left it, but I gave you the option to remove it when you're at war with Germany. And finally, if we tag over to Italy here, we can see some of the wartime decisions. So let's just close all this here. These are the wartime decisions, so we can focus on ration production. We can be extremely efficient. We can divert factories to wartime production. And finally, and probably most importantly, the decision to ensure that food is coming, which is when you have the national spirit lack of food, you can choose this decision and it'll give you less war support, but it will reduce the penalties of lack of food by half. So that's what this does. And there are custom decisions for the UK, Germany, China, and I want to say one more nation. It's on the welcome event, but I forget the other nation. So yeah. Then another thing I did was I took the Soviet Union and I changed the way the debuffs work. So for AI, it's no longer just one national spirit that happens when they're 15% towards capitulation. Now it is a series of decisions that happens over time, and it's only for the AI. So if we do observe here, we might be able to see it. Tag Sov. Okay, so we cannot see it, but basically when they're at war with Germany, they will they'll have some decisions that allow them to make it harder for Germany, I guess. Yeah, but I guess the Soviet Union also has a custom decision here, and that's that one. So yeah, that's one of the decisions that boost them, but there's like 6 total decisions and focuses and things like that that boost the Soviet Union. So one of these other bonuses is called Overwhelming Offensive, and this happens when Germany is invading the Soviet Union after they're towards like capitulation. Once you're up towards Moscow, you should start to see it happening. Basically what happens is the Soviet Union gets a big buff for attacking on their core territory, and they also have an AI modifier to focus on offense. So there's that. Let's get on to some more exciting things. So the trade screen, which is probably is not even a big thing, but it's my favorite feature of this entire update. Oh my god, it looks beautiful, doesn't it? So I finally fixed the trade screen here. All 9 resources now have their little GFX on the background, and there's no like black bar here, and this is all nice and centered, and it has its nice background here instead of just being all black. So this is probably one of my favorite things of the whole update, and that's just because I'm super proud of expanded resources, but I wanted to make it feel kind of finished, and the way it was before, it didn't feel finished or completed. So I went ahead and fixed it, and I think it looks great now. Speaking of fixing things, I also fixed the construction screen, so we can see here that the grain farm is now not in place, or it's not obstructing, sorry, the province buildings here. So there's that. And finally, the production screen is a bit different as well. These different resources up here are more aligned in the middle, so these 3 aren't super crammed up here. And then also you'll notice that there's 2 other things to notice. Uniforms are now in the game. So uniforms are new equipment that you have to manage, and they work kind of like bullets where you don't technically need them, but if you have them, they give bonuses to your defense, your attack, things like that. You'll notice that the graphics for light ammo and for heavy ammo has changed, and that is because, oh, as well as fuel. Where's fuel? I guess I didn't put it on here. So the graphics for fuel has also changed a little bit, and that's because of the new technologies. So here's the tech tree, and you can see that it looks a little bit weird right now, and this is because the AI has an event to give them all these base, and that's what that original event was. So if we do like event xre.0, and now we have all these, that's why you have this research. Now we can click on the tree and see it looks normal. Okay, so here's the tech tree. I think it's really cool, lots of different technologies, but you'll see there are now 3 different equipments for each like archetype is what it's called, for most of the things here. So for rations, you have low density, medium density, and high density ration packs, and they all have different buffs. So this is mostly a reliability buff. So you have to think, do I want to trade this production to make them last longer? Things like that, right? Then we have low octane fuel. We have this more efficient use of low octane fuel, medium octane fuel, and high octane fuel, as well as some more efficient supply routes and highly efficient supply routes. I also forgot to show this is medium density ration pack filled to the brim, as it's called. Then we have the basic light ammo, and we have this defense and offense, this weather resistant light ammo, and then you can choose either light ammo with strengthened bullets or high density light ammo, and these all have different buffs and debuffs, so I'm not going to show the difference between all of them because I want you to download the mod and experience it for yourself, but you can see once you download it. Then for uniforms here, or my bad, for heavy ammo here, you can see that we have heavy ammo bonuses, greater capacity heavy ammo, and greater capacity heavy ammo with filled cases. For uniforms, we just have some cold and heat acclimatization factors. And then for grain farms, you can now build up to a level 3 grain farm. So that's different from the 1.5 version. Now you will notice that these headers up here are off, and this is just because I'm playing in 4K and I'm using scaling instead of 1080p. So if you're playing this in 1080p, it'll look perfectly fine and nothing will be off. All the dates will be perfectly aligned and all the headings up here will be perfectly aligned. But because I'm playing with the scaling, it does mess it up a little bit. So yeah, once you download the mod, it should look fine. Most of you are playing in 1080p, so there's that. And I think that is about all for the updates. So there's a lot of new stuff. There's some behind the scenes work where I fixed some of the leftover errors from upgrading to cornflakes. So all that should be fine. It's super stable, and yeah, I'm really excited for you all to play the mod. Remember, you can get it for the base version has 1.6, and then also the Road to 56 mod has 1.6. So go ahead, try it out. Links in the description. Let me know if you like it, and yeah, until next time, take care. Bye-bye.